Well, good afternoon, everyone, and thank you for joining us today. My name is Nick Henschel, COO at American Tours International, ATI, and we look forward to sharing with you what's new and cool in two really fabulous destinations in Southern California, West Hollywood and Santa Monica, which we've paired together to create a really unforgettable getaway for your customers. So we're going to speak to Sean Kelly Holokai, who is the Vice President of West Hollywood for Business Development, West Hollywood Tourism Bureau, that is, and Todd Mitsuhata, who is the Director of Global Business Development for Santa Monica Tourism.
Come on, let's get lost in the moment. Are you free? Come on, believe. I believe in your magic motion. Run away with me. I'm gonna make you feel alive. So show me what you keep inside. So where we gonna run to? Let's go ride the lightning. Can't wait to feel the thunder. You're gonna feel it too. I'm gonna make you feel alive. So show me what you keep inside. So where we gonna run
We're all recording here from Southern California on a beautiful late spring, early summer day. We just entered June, which is Pride Month. I have my colors on. That's the thing to be doing right now. And West Hollywood is really the leader in some ways of that. So I wanted to start with you, Sean, about what's new in West Hollywood, especially for people who have maybe never been there, or people who've been before, but during this last year, a lot has changed. So we're excited to hear what is new and exciting in West Hollywood.
Definitely. Thanks, Nick, and happy to be here with you as well, Todd. But, for us, it really has been a wild year in 2020, but 2021 is looking a lot brighter, especially as the state is opening up and LA County is mirroring what the state is doing. So with that, our city is celebrating Pride Month, as Nick talked about. It's going to look a little different, not necessarily a parade or anything like that, but really activations throughout the city and really just encouraging visitors, local and visiting in from out of town, to really just enjoy yourself at one of our popular bars, restaurants, and really just walk the city. It's very walkable. It's 1.9 square miles. So really it is very much something that would be great for you to enjoy and really just explore and kind of spread out in the city, right? Obviously, you have your main thoroughfare of Santa Monica Boulevard, where Pride normally usually is and takes up a lot of the room. But this year, because of everything, we kind of want to manage it a little bit better and keep things a little more spread out as we continue to open up and things develop. So very excited about that. Sorry.
What about so after June, after this next month, and I'm sure there's going to be a lot of both locals and people visiting to celebrate Pride. What are the kind of new developments that are going to be happening later on in the summer in West Hollywood, and maybe some of the also new activities, or I think that some new hotels have come online over this last year that some of our audience may not know about.
Definitely, yeah. Actually, this in 2020 we had a lot of activity of construction and new both hotels and restaurants coming into the market. As Nick alluded to, our wonderful Pendry West Hollywood by Montage just opened beginning of April. So they are on the legendary Sunset Strip as well, right next to the Mondrian and the Andaz. At the former House of Blues site. So it really is a unique property in that it has a bowling alley, a music kind of private club, rooftop pools, and as well, Wolfgang Puck made a return back to the legendary Sunset Strip. So he has two wonderful restaurants there, and there's residences attached to it as well. So it's really an impressive site, kind of capping the Sunset Strip. And then if you go towards Beverly Hills, we have the Edition West Hollywood, and they just opened a little over 2 years ago. But because of the pandemic and everything, things had to change a little bit. So, we're excited that they're open as well. So really, just a lot of new hotel supply in the market. Something for everyone, honestly, is what I say throughout the city. And then secondly, we had a wonderful restaurant called Bottega Louie open up on Santa Monica Boulevard that has been doing extremely well. It has an on-site bakery as well as some wonderful food. There's other restaurants throughout LA that Bottega Louie has, but this is their newest one. And then lastly, a lot of our hotels and our bars and restaurants, they're rooftop options there. So you can have expansive views and you can be outside and enjoy yourself at the bars or the restaurants. So really kind of that quintessential LA experience in West Hollywood that we like to say that is available to you.
Yeah, I love that the rooftop pool experience that is pretty easy for any person staying at those properties, whether it's the Pendry or the Edition, as you said, or some of the properties that have been around and have beautiful pool decks for a long time, like the London and the Mondrian, and they offer an experience that I think is kind of that hybrid of we're out to celebrate the summer and getting post COVID, but also not being like inside and crowded in a club or something like that. It's you're still outside and being able to enjoy the vistas that really West Hollywood offers of all of Los Angeles, right? And you can even see Santa Monica actually. So that's a great segue to you, Todd, and to explain a little bit to our audience today about what's new in Santa Monica, which is not very far away, as some of our audience probably knows. But one of the things that connects this whole theme to our DriveAmerica program is really the drive from West Hollywood to Santa Monica and the various routes that you can take that are all pretty world famous, whether it's Sunset Boulevard, Wilshire Boulevard, San Vicente. All of them are really iconic within Southern California and kind of an experience unto themselves, right? So I'm gonna, as we take the audience through Los Angeles, hopefully not in too much traffic because we're still, doing okay on the traffic front, depending on when you're traveling. We're gonna travel west to Santa Monica towards the ocean, and maybe you can share a little bit about what's new there with our audience today.
Sure. Well, really excited to be on the webinar. Thanks again for having us. Yeah, I think in line with what you said, obviously we're connected by Route 66. Neighbors in LA, and I think it's a great way to really experience the best of LA, Santa Monica, and West Hollywood. But in line with what Sean was saying, actually for this month, for June, for Pride Month, we have some art installations that are going on 3rd Street Promenade, Santa Monica Place, and the Pier, which are all in our downtown Santa Monica area. So really happy to see that going on. I think some really cool art installations and things happening around that. Also kind of similar to what Sean said, I think, we've always been a destination that has been known for our outdoor activities, really nice al fresco, open air dining experiences. And I think we've seen really an expansion of that during the pandemic, having, sidewalks and parts of the city almost rezoned to allow for more outdoor dining and really just making use of that great weather that we both have in our destination. So that's been really exciting to see. From the hotel perspective, The DoubleTree Suites by Hilton has been renovated, and that recently opened. It's actually a month and a half ago as the new Hilton Santa Monica Hotel and Suites. So that's brand new in the destination. Really excited to be able to see that open. And actually, I did a site inspection of that about a week ago, and really, really nice property there. And then from the experience perspective, a lot of really great outdoor activities. So we're obviously a destination that's really known for the wellness scene, and everything from beach yoga, starting your day maybe with a meditation class or yoga on the beach. If you want to do a spinning class, there's spinning classes now you can do on Santa Monica Beach. We have actually a new company that's doing beach picnics. So they're called Santa Monica Picnic Company, and you can do an elegant, curated beach picnic with professionally designed furnishings and kind of kick back on the beach and do that. And then we've seen a lot of interest in these wine tours that actually go up into the Santa Monica Mountains. And I think that's another hidden gem. A lot of folks don't realize that we're close to Malibu and the Santa Monica Mountains. You can go up there and do a private wine tasting outdoors and enjoy PCH and some of those iconic roads that you talked about. And yeah, those are some of the new things that are going on. So.
Great, thank you. And I love that you alluded to PCH and the drive up to Malibu, because we are talking about a DriveAmerica package that we've created in conjunction with you all, and really showing the best experiences that there are, and including them in the package that our travel advisors are able to easily book or to change, to customize. And so some of the experiences that you talked about, Todd, we actually have contracted in advance and offer at a discounted rate in the package, like the beach picnic, for instance, or they could add the wine tasting in Malibu. So that's really a great point. And in West Hollywood in the hills, we've had biking and hiking excursions that we've included in the package, that can be, of course, changed to whatever kind of version the end customer, our agent client would like. But those are kinds of the excursions and activities that we include in our packages at a discounted rate, because they are packaged along with the hotels that our advisors are able to take advantage of. So I'm happy that we were able to talk about that a little bit. I want to go back to what you mentioned about the restaurant scene right now, because I think that that's a really important piece in every destination right now after COVID, to know what's going on, because that's part of why people travel to a destination, right? Is to experience the food and the wine and the overall ambiance of being out and dining out. And one of the things you mentioned is LA was, given how great our weather has always been, we did not have the same outdoor dining culture that people would have expected pre-COVID, right? We had outdoor venues, but not as much as you would necessarily expect. Well, now we actually do. Because of COVID, they've added a lot of outdoor space. And now, as people have been able to start dining indoors again, it's actually added even more space, right? So it's really interesting situation, because what you've also seen is, yeah, there are some restaurants that didn't return, right? But the ones that are back, or the new restaurants, actually have expanded capacity. So maybe if you each could talk a little bit about that. Sean, you spoke about some of the new venues like Bottega Louie that opened up, but there's others that have added capacity. Now, I still think it's important that everyone knows to make reservations in advance, especially during the summer, that there's not going to be the ability to easily just walk in. But maybe Sean and Todd, you could talk more about that restaurant culture and what's developing what's developed and what continues to develop over these next months, in your view.
Thanks, Nick. Yeah, definitely. For us, one of our brand pillars is culinary. So whether you're on the Sunset Strip or Santa Monica Boulevard or on Melrose in the Design District, there is a wonderful restaurant that's either been there or has opened. Some iconic ones that come to mind are Dan Tana's, Craig's, Cicconi's, but also you have some kind of newer restaurants that have popped up in the last several years, EP and LP, which has a great rooftop bar and restaurant. Gracias Madre is an all-vegan Mexican restaurant on Melrose in the Design District. So really there is something for everyone. And what's unique about West Hollywood and our hotels is we really have some iconic restaurants in there as well. So those, as hotels have developed, throughout the years, or even most recently, they're popping up some great restaurants and some partnerships actually. So at the one hotel, there's Harriet's Rooftop with expansive views of LA and the Hollywood Hills there, as well as an iconic restaurant at the Tower Bar at Sunset Tower Hotel. So there really is something for everyone, from sushi to Italian to American to French, you name it. So I definitely encourage you, as Nick mentioned, to get a reservation as soon as possible if you're making your trip down to West Hollywood and on to Santa Monica.
But you raise a good point, Sean, about the great restaurants that are actually within the hotels, that many of which we offer, that we contract and offer package rates at. That obviously makes it a little bit easier, as people, I think, generally know when you're staying at the hotel, you have better access to the restaurant. That's a really good point. And I think that's true in Santa Monica as well, right, Todd? When I think about some of the, like the Huntley, the restaurant on the roof there, or some of the other properties that have their own like really iconic restaurants as well.
Yeah, no, most definitely. The Huntley has the penthouse, which is a really amazing 360 view of the coastline of Hollywood as well. Calabra, which is at the Santa Monica Proper Hotel, also has an open air rooftop restaurant and bar, which is really iconic and popular. Hotel Shangri-La as well. And then the Georgian, which is a really unique Art Deco property, actually, I think during the pandemic opened their veranda restaurant, which really just kind of goes out onto Ocean Avenue with these really amazing views. So yeah, certainly a lot for hotel dining. I'll say that the Promenade as well, which is obviously a really famous outdoor open air shopping destination. A lot of those restaurants, Nick, to your point, have expanded outdoors. So they still have the indoor dining space, but now it's nice to be able to actually dine on the Promenade and do your shopping, do your dining there. So 1212 is a really a popular restaurant that's done that. I'll say in terms of some of the more, really popular restaurants, Elefante Beach House is one that I think even before the pandemic was known for those ocean views and kind of southern Mediterranean dining. But that's a great spot. And then of course the pier too. I mean, those restaurants really haven't changed, but you can really have a nice, affordable meal too on the pier and enjoy those ocean views. So a lot of different options to be able to enjoy, the open air in Santa Monica.
What about on the beach, Todd? Like there's a few venues that are actually on the beach as well, right? But they're more during the day, like kind of beach shack types of dining places. There's not really for evening. You're kind of more up on Ocean Avenue, or like you said, on the pier, right?
Yeah, there's two that come to mind. One is called Back on the Beach Cafe, which is actually part of the Annenberg Beach House. And the Annenberg Beach House is the only public beach club in the United States. So they're kind of getting back open, but the cafe there, Back on the Beach, has been open throughout the pandemic and is a really nice way, literally toes in the sand, casual meal, but you're right there on the beach. And then Perry's Cafe has multiple locations throughout Santa Monica and Venice, and you can also dine on the beach, or if you want to do a beach butler experience as well and have like a butler to deliver your food and beverages out to you on the beach, you can do that as well. But those are two that are really popular in Santa Monica.
Great, very cool. And so, one of the questions I think that everyone's thinking about, because they've heard California has been closed, right? But we know now that California is not really closed; it's reopened. I just read that Warner Brothers, their studio lot is going to be restarting the end of this month. Obviously, Disneyland's already open at limited capacity, but all of that's changing very quickly right now. So maybe speak a little bit to some of the developments as they come that are kind of post-COVID that are now, whether it's reopening or if there are still some, restrictions that travelers and their travel advisors should keep in mind when they're planning coming to Southern California, but particularly to West Hollywood and to Santa Monica. Sean, what are your thoughts on that?
Yeah, honestly, I recommend, we have a lot of resources as an industry, as a tourism and travel and tourism industry. So Visit California is one. They have some great up-to-date statistics and kind of recommendations as you come to the state, right? Secondly, I would encourage you to visit each of our websites, whether it be visitwesthollywood.com or I'm sure Santa Monica's website. We have some great insights there that all kind of follow along with the CDC guidelines as well as the city and the county guidelines. But From what we're told, we are in LA County, and LA County will be following California's kind of reopening guidelines, so those should mirror each other. And from our understanding as well, it's very easy to see the facts even at LAX. If you're flying, you still have to wear masks and kind of social distance there per CDC, but definitely the rules are kind of opening up a little bit more as the state and the county and our cities reopen as well.
And what about rates and availability as we talk about, the demand increasing? What are we seeing in terms of the kind of stay patterns and when people maybe could expect to get a better deal at a hotel? Is it going to be midweek because maybe some of the business travel hasn't come back yet, so they should be looking for their clients on a midweek basis? Do you expect that there's going to be a kind of crunch that causes price increases across the board, or is that only in certain segments of hotels? What are your thoughts on that to share with our audience today, Sean?
Yeah, I think you hit the nail on the head there, Nick. As a business comes back into market, obviously traditionally business is traveling midweek, and weekends are, obviously our leisure guests, but that really has changed, I think, for LA or just California in general. We are seeing, as I'm sure for Santa Monica, the summer is obviously our peak period, right? So, that is ramping up as we speak just because of the great weather we have in Southern California. But I think there is great opportunity for travelers, whether it be leisure or business, to come in on a Sunday and stay over a weekday pattern, honestly. Or if you can come during the week, you'll get even better opportunities for packages and some kind of inclusive packages. But again, I recommend, if you can, to your point, midweek and weekends. If you want to come on the weekends, we still encourage you to, but it might be a little tighter.
Yeah. And in Santa Monica, that's the same trend, right, Todd?
100% agree with what Sean said. Same thing here. Yeah, I think during the week, definitely good opportunity to take advantage of some lower rates there. Historically, summer has also been a really busy time for us. Obviously, moving forward, we'll see what happens. Hopefully, things will be busy in summer, but also during the winter time is a good time historically to take advantage of would have been lower rates too. So yeah, I think right in line though with what Sean said as well.
One of my questions that I think the audience would also want to understand is why these two cities within this large metropolis? What about, why is it better than some of the other, whether it's beach cities or some of the other places, whether it's in LA or in Orange County or even a little bit further north? Like what differentiates West Hollywood and what differentiates Santa Monica to both stay in and to really do together as well?
Yeah, I mean, for us, I always say we're the geographical heart of Los Angeles. We're that quintessential LA experience. The celebrities play here, they live here. We have the Hollywood Hills. We're number one walkable city. We're only 1.9 square miles, so it really is that kind of urban, new luxury kind of experience, right, that we're looking at. And honestly, we do say, go enjoy Santa Monica, while you're here, honestly, because the proximity, we're very close to each other, and both of our destinations complement each other, whether it be during the day or at night. But really, there's something for everyone, and that creates a kind of a longer stay experience when you can enjoy two close, very different and unique destinations. Is my take.
Yeah, Todd.
Yeah, I think to Sean's point, it is really unique to find destinations like ours that are really walkable. And we're also relatively small, so 8.3 square miles, about 20 minutes from LAX, but a great base to stay. But as Sean said, I think to be able to stay at your hotel, walk to most of those main attractions, shops, restaurants, have that car-free experience while you're staying in LA is really a huge advantage. And I think we definitely share that in common. But to Sean's point, we complement each other well, and we do have different things to offer. And obviously, we're laid back beach city, You can stay by the beach, stay in one of the hotels, but go out and explore Santa Monica or other, West Hollywood and Beverly Hills, Malibu, Venice as well. So I think it's a great way really to get that, the quintessential SoCal LA experience, and really, experience both and get the flavor of LA that way.
I think that that's exactly right. The walkability of both of your destinations is really unmatched, right? And then the fact that you really are both still central within Los Angeles means that you can enjoy the other cities as well as LA itself while you're staying in West Hollywood and Santa Monica. So I think that we've enticed the audience today to come, stay in both of your destinations, and hopefully with American Tours, and to book one of our Drive America packages. This is really a more unconventional Drive America package. It's not long road trips like we typically are talking about. But like I said, we've paired together two really world-class destinations within a city and a region, frankly, that's known for its driving. And the last thing I'd like to say is you don't actually have to drive yourself anymore. There are plenty of public transportation options, and obviously Uber and Lyft, and those make things a lot easier for getting around, especially at night if you want to imbibe, and not have to worry about driving. So I don't know, last thoughts before we wrap it up about the kind of drivability and how you can get around the region within and between your destinations.
Yeah, for us, we highly recommend the Uber and the Lyft or the rideshare program. If you have some clients or yourself, looking to have, a more VIP experience, we can definitely arrange some of the higher end car service, or even a larger groups or, shuttle kind of thing into our city. And we're very close in proximity to Los Angeles and Burbank Airport as well. And honestly, when you're here, you can walk around. And we do have complimentary shuttles that connect a lot of our main areas of the city, like Santa Monica and Sunset Strip. And those are getting back online now that things are opening up again. And again, I encourage to take an Uber or Lyft down to the beach and enjoy the great weather this summer is going to have for us. And honestly, we welcome you to come to West Hollywood and hopefully Santa Monica as well anytime, and experience what Southern California and California is really known for. So thank you.
Great. Thank you, Sean. Todd.
Yeah, I think Sean covered it really well. I think, one other thing I want to mention about Santa Monica is we have a light rail line that actually comes into our beach city as well. So that's a nice way, obviously drive into the destinations, but if you want to hop on that train, you can get around LA and go to other parts as well. And you talked about some of those, the theme parks, Nick, being back open, and you can actually get to Universal Studios on the Metro Rail. So that's something that sometimes I think folks don't realize that that's available as well.
Easier than parking there. So
yeah. So a lot of different ways to get around it, as Sean talked about. But I think we're also excited to welcome folks back, and weather's getting warmer, and our destinations and businesses are open, and excited to welcome everyone to Santa Monica and West Hollywood. So.
Well, thank you both so much. I think, like I said, we have enticed our audience, I hope, today, because these destinations are so cool and hot at the same time. Let's be honest, both literally and figuratively during the summer. But most of our audience today are travel agents that are now, just trying to figure out where they're going to recommend their customers to go, because they still, in large part, there's some reopening internationally, but it's still very confusing, right? The cruises are maybe going to reopen in July, August timeframe, but there's the capacity is an issue. So we're trying to work and influence and inspire our travel advisors to really book and plan those domestic packages to destinations that maybe are kind of like going to Europe, like going to the south of France and Santa Monica, for example, but are obviously here and very different maybe from where their customers lives. So I appreciate both of you, your time today, and for this campaign to inspire our audience, and look forward to greeting them and welcoming them rather to Santa Monica and to West Hollywood this summer and beyond.
Definitely.
All right.
Thanks.
Thanks, Nick. Thanks, Todd.
Thanks, Sean.
Come on, let's get lost in the moment. Are you free? Come on, believe. I believe in your magic motion. Run away with me. I'm gonna make you feel alive. So show me what you keep inside. So where we gonna run to? Let's go ride lightning. Can't wait to feel the thunder. We're gonna feel it too. I'm gonna make you feel alive. So show me what you keep inside. So where we gonna run
I wanted to walk you through how you can book the package that we've created that combines these two world-class cities within a city. I'm based here in Los Angeles, which is, you may know, is a sprawling metropolis in Southern California that has so many different destinations within it, including Santa Monica, which is right by the beach, and West Hollywood, which is only a few miles inland towards the Hollywood Hills. And typically the packages that we've created have been drive tours, have been destinations that are longer distances. But this package, which is also in our DriveAmerica portion of our platform, is really a city package with some driving in between, actually some really iconic driving, whether it's on Santa Monica Boulevard, which is the end of Route 66, or down Sunset Boulevard, which is world famous, or down through the freeway, the 10 and 405, which may or may not be faster depending on the traffic of the day. So I wanted to first start by sharing with you how you can book the package and how you can change the package that we've developed easily, changing the hotels or the attractions. So I'm going to start by taking you on to AmericanTours.com, onto our platform, which you should be seeing now. And this is the home page. And actually, you can see that we have two featured destinations. And right here, you can see that we have Santa Monica and West Hollywood featured. These will link to their individual landing pages that have a whole host of information and videos that you'll be able to enjoy and learn about the destination. It's really a great resource to see what's new, maps about where hotels and attractions and restaurants are, and then some recommendations and insider tips, as you can see along the way. And so we have both West Hollywood and Santa Monica featured on our website right now for the next month or so. And we hope that you will go on there and really learn some additional pieces of what's new and what's the best kind of experience for your customers, in addition to the webinar today. So those are two important resources for you. Then on the Drive America tab, which I just clicked, that will take you to the package that we've created, which, as I said, is really more of a kind of a smaller drive package. It's combining two destinations that are nearby one another, and they're both in Los Angeles. So if you search Los Angeles in the greater Los Angeles area and make that search by going and choosing Los Angeles on the tab there, then you'll see scrolling down that it's under Discover SoCal Splendors in West Hollywood and Santa Monica. And here you can see that we have two different versions. We have a standard version and we have an upgrade version. So I'm going to go to the upgrade version and check availability. I haven't put in a date yet. And you can see that it pulls up the detail of the tour, which is 3 nights in each location in West Hollywood and then Santa Monica. And it has some images for your customers. It has the itinerary with the recommendations and inclusions within the tour. And I think what's most important to share with you today is that you can customize the tour. As you may have seen before, the functionality that we've developed within our Drive America platform is really industry leading when it comes to creating having a package that we've curated and then being able to customize it. Here you can see the map that showcases the 2 destinations. This one's taking you down to the freeway. The traffic may be too bad, or you just want to take the more scenic route on Santa Monica Boulevard here, or as I said, down Sunset Boulevard to get to Santa Monica. Both incredibly memorable drives. And now you can see, as I scroll down, the hotels that are featured in the tour, in this case, the Andaz, which is a really great Hyatt brand, very cool. And it's right on the Sunset Strip. Andaz West Hollywood, which includes a resort fee. So all of that is important to note when you're booking this for your clients. Now, these are packaged rates that are really reduced and basically a value that you wouldn't be able to get on its own. So that's really important for you to know as well. We also include in this tour a celebrity bike tour with an electric bike in the Hollywood Hills. And and then when we go to Santa Monica, where we'll stay at the Shore Hotel, which is fabulous on Ocean Boulevard, overlooking the Pacific Ocean. And this package includes a partial ocean view room, also with a resort fee. And then we also have included a bike rental along the coast, along the Will Rogers and Santa Monica Beach, which is really an unforgettable experience. So the pricing is all here, and you can see that quite clearly. Remember, this is all-inclusive pricing, so it does have resort fees. It's not nightly, it's for the 3 nights. And then what's, I think, really important to show you is the ability to say, you know what, I actually want to extend my stay in Santa Monica. So I'm going to go to change stay. And you'll be able to then change the number of nights. You can also change the hotel if you'd like to. But in this case, I think that the Shore is a perfect place to stay. So I'm just going to add a night. And in this case, it is the August date that actually is perfect to be visiting. So I'm just going to add a night there. Great. And it is available. It is available for another $600, again, inclusive of resort fee, and that is a pretty good value for Santa Monica at the peak summer season, I have to say. And so the grand total for this package now, and we have included personal digital documentation, which I think is really important for you to know that we include that in all of our road trip or Drive America packages. You can also remove it. You can say that I don't want it, but we would recommend that you do have it because it does include all of the destination information. It's something that's a really nice value add for not that much cost for your customers. So I've put that back in the cart, and you're really ready to go at this point. If you wanted to add additional activities, this is where you would do that under add activity for each of these destinations. That's easy to do. You can also add another destination at the in between or at the end if you wanted to go to Palm Springs, for example, or up to Santa Barbara. That's also easy for you to do. But in this case, I think we're going to stick with the package with an extended night in Santa Monica, and I'm going to proceed to cart, and then it will be ready for me to easily book. And this is, again, for 2 adults, and all of the segmented pieces are in there. It will say in some cases for a activity that needs to be confirmed on request. Our operations team will handle that for you and will confirm the day and time. So you don't have to worry about any of that for your customers.
Okay, so I hope that you all enjoyed that a lot, and want to thank Nick for putting together this amazing presentation. And we have a little time left for questions, so we're going to bring Sean and Todd and their webcams up as well, and we will answer some of your questions. I know that we got some of them answered while you were watching the presentation, but I do see a few here, and so Nick, I think we'll just jump right in with those, unless you had something else you wanted to add before we got to that.
No, I think we should start with the questions.
Okay,
Please.
good. Okay, good. I saw one here about the Pendry, and there was a question about what kind of clientele would like the Pendry.
Obviously, West Hollywood is welcoming to everybody. So, anyone who likes something that's new and trendy and wants to try kind of the new kid on the block, I'd recommend the Pendry. It is a Montage brand, so the price point's a little higher, especially kind of opening the grand opening, but really for anyone who's looking for something new and innovative. Wolfgang Puck has 2 restaurants there, so even if you don't stay there, definitely check out the restaurants. And it is just a great new addition to the Sunset Strip.
Mm-hmm. Good. Thank you. So
I would also recommend, actually, Lee, while you mentioned the addition, Sean, that's another great newest property that opened also on the Strip, very similar to the Pendry, overlooking all of Los Angeles and Santa Monica. Actually, the views are really stunning from up there, and a beautiful Marriott affiliated property, which can be booked by agents on AmericanTours.com. So I think that's also worth checking out.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Nick, let's take a minute and just tell me a little bit more about how advisors can work with ATI to put this kind of a trip together.
Yeah, so what I walked through in terms of the kind of example of a package that we've created, SoCal Adventure package with West Hollywood and Santa Monica, those are kind of a framework, a kind of starting point to inspire agents to really be easily able to sell that to their customers. But it's not necessarily what people end up booking, right? What we're seeing is that whether it's this kind of more simple package with some attractions and 2 destinations, or whether it's one of our 2 to 3 week national parks road trips, people end up making changes, and adding their own what they want to do. And some of that will occur outside of AmericanTours.com for sure. We know that. But a lot of it, what we're hoping to do is have as much of that occur on AmericanTours.com as possible. And they are package rates; they're obviously commissionable, and the discounts are really because we are combining all of these attractions and transportation and hotels together. I know that there's often the question about, well, what about rental car? We are going to be adding that at some point in the future. Right now, that would have to be booked separately, which is pretty convenient. I think in most cases, most agents have their own rental car preferred agreements that they like to book separately. So that hopefully gives a kind of overview of where we are. I hope that the actual what I walked through was kind of instructive to everyone today, able to see what the functionality is. It can obviously get quite complex. The more destinations you add, the more activities you add, and making all of those changes. Oh, one other point I think I did not mention, which is really important, is you can save any changes that you've made into your personal cart. And so it becomes your package, really. So what I had created there by adding a night in Santa Monica, I could have then saved that as, you know, Nick's SoCal getaway. And that would be easily rebookable in the future, just looking through dates when you want to go back and say to your customer, hey, I just sent someone loves this this trip, and I think you should do the same thing. That is, I think, a really nice feature of what AmericanTours, what we do, which is to kind of enable you to easily reuse what you've created for yourself, for your customers.
Mm-hmm. Nick, a couple more questions about using the ATI platform to book. So are advisors just able to book activities if their clients wanted to use points to book their hotels? Do you have a minimum spend?
No minimum spend at all. You could book activities which are also commissionable. They're wholesale, you know, rates, and because it's behind a login, you'll be able to access those rates. You know, the only thing that we have a minimum on is it came up actually during one of the questions, is our concierge service, which is really where we utilize our special groups team's expertise to go and do all of those things that are kind of hard for you to do on your own, getting a reservation or special arrangement at a restaurant or at a museum. That requires a $5,000 minimum spend, which you can see actually you get to pretty quickly when you're booking a deluxe package, or when you're doing a 2.5-3 week trip around the national parks. So it's not by any means hard to get to. And then our special groups team really steps in and says, what would you like us to do for you? Whether it's a private transportation in a Sprinter for a small, you know, family group, or like I said, making hard to get dinner reservations, or you know, access to certain venues that really aren't easy to access otherwise.
Mm-hmm. And so are advisors able to contact you by phone if they, for whatever reason, don't want to use the interface?
Sure, we have you know, our customer service team standing by 24/7. They are more operationally focused. They're not really a reservations team. The whole point of building out our platform was to actually utilize the platform for bookings. And then if you have questions, you can email sales@americantours.com. You can call for clarification, but not our goal is not to, you know, be taking reservations over the phone. That's not our model. It really is to make it easily bookable on our online platform.
Mm-hmm. Okay. And can most properties that one would find on your platform handle and accommodate guests who are physically challenged? I think you can check that off, right? And so it will only return those results?
Yes, there is a checkbox for accessibility. You know, that is something that is really on a property by property basis in terms of what they're, you know, having to do, particularly around like what the obviously federal, state, and local laws and rules are. But we do have that search capability on our website.
Mm-hmm. So I love this question because I think I'd like to fly this way to Santa Monica. There was a question about whether the Santa Monica airport is open for charter jet clients. So do we have some insider intel there that we can share?
You know, that's a really good question. That's not a question that I've received before, but I believe it is. There are plans in the future for the Santa Monica airport to kind of transition to essentially close down, and that space is going to be rezoned for more green spaces in Santa Monica. So I will probably look into that and maybe get back to you guys, but I believe it is. I know there's still flights that are coming in and out of there. So.
Mm-hmm. So Todd, I know you were watching the questions as we were going through our presentation today. Was there anything there that you saw you wanted to bring up to everyone as it relates to Santa Monica?
You know, I think most of those key questions, which by the way, there were a lot of really good questions from the webinar. I think we were able to answer most of them. I will say that I feel like James has a really good inside scoop in terms of, you know, local tips, because he was, I think, mentioning like Ye Olde King's Head, which is a really famous pub and frequented by a lot of, you know, expats from the UK. So I was just impressed with just the interest level and the questions and some of the things that folks already knew about the destination. So I feel like we've answered most of those, but if there's any others that people have, happy to jump in and answer questions.
Okay. Sean, what about you? I know you were answering questions as well. Was there anything you wanted to highlight or reinforce?
Yeah, I mean, again, I would just say California is open, Los Angeles is open, as well as my colleague Santa Monica and West Hollywood. So, we encourage you go to our website, visit westhollywood.com and Santa Monica's website too, and just learn more about the things that are available. The theme parks are open. I mean, there really is this new energy taking place. Summer is a very busy time for us, so if you have clients interested in coming out this summer, definitely get ahead of it. We're picking up, as well as the restaurants and the activities are being booked out farther as well. So again, please reach out to us if you have any questions, and we're here to help you. Thank you.
All right. Nick, this has been terrific. As always, I learn so much when I work with you, and I'm so impressed with ATI and all of the tools that you have available for our advisors. So I'm going to turn it back to you now for you to share any final thoughts with our audience.
Thank you, Lee. I really appreciate all you do to make these happen. And thank you, Sean and Todd, for joining us today and for really, giving us the latest update on what's new in your really fabulous destinations in West Hollywood and Santa Monica. I think it was a really important point that Sean just made. California is open. Southern California, all of California, but especially Southern California is open. We are all here. And I can tell you firsthand, if there's any trepidation or concern about coming to California and not being able to enjoy some of the, why people come to Southern California, whether it's outdoor dining or, concerts, or that is all happening now. And yeah, there's some changes about capacity, or maybe you have to be a little bit more careful about making reservations. But all of that that's a good problem to have in a lot of ways, because it means that there's demand and it's exciting, and people are wanting to be there and meet each other, and it's really gotten to a place where I think your customers are going to love staying here, and especially in West Hollywood and Santa Monica, which are really two hamlets within Los Angeles and Southern California that are the best places to stay, frankly, for a variety of reasons. The walkability that we talked about, the hotels that are fabulous, and the people watching. It's all really, really good. And so we look forward to welcoming you here in Southern California and on AmericanTours.com. Like I said, you can create your own package based on what we've already curated, or you can start from scratch. And that's kind of what our unique selling point is, and how we differentiate ourselves from so many others in the industry. And so thank you for joining us today, and look forward to seeing you here in Southern California and on AmericanTours.com.
Excellent. Well, my thanks as well. And everyone, the replay will be up and available for a few weeks after the webinar. So if you want to review this information, you're going to be able to do that just by following the same link that you used to access today. So with that, we will wish you all a good day. Let you know that we do have those social media memes that we'll be sending to all of you that you could use on your website to promote this fabulous destination. And with that, we will wish you a good day and conclude the webinar. Goodbye, everybody.
Thank you.
Thanks, everyone.
Thanks again. Bye,
Thanks,
gentlemen.
guys.
Bye.